Hey guys, so I promised you that you will get a video on our outreach strategy, and so that's what it is. That's what this video is all about. And so we want to share with you what has happened over the last few months and where we landed on this whole process of doing outreach and wanting to just share the good news with other people. All right. So let's get started. I want to start by talking about the nature of our type of church. As you know, we are having two target groups, or we're having three target groups, but specifically two of them, students and foreigners. And when you think a little bit about our history, when you think about someone like Nadia, when you think about someone like Gwyneth and Soren and their families, then we realize that we are a transient church. And students don't stay students forever. Foreigners don't stay in Munich forever. And so we are a church where people will constantly come and go. And that also means that we constantly lose people who are part of Aletheia for a time. God brings them to us and we're spending time together for a while. But then eventually God will say, okay, time is up, and that person will leave the city. In other words, a church like ours cannot survive long-term if we don't regularly add people. And I think some of that feel it a little bit right now, because due to Corona and due to the circumstances and everything, we were just not really able to do much of an outreach, and we needed time to focus on each other for a while. And so that's why now we are at this point where we realize, okay, people are leaving, people are moving back to their home country and these things. And we need to add new people regularly. Otherwise, a church like ours simply cannot survive long-term. So that's a practical reality. Now, of course, we all know Jesus' Great Commission, Matthew 28, 19, 20. Go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. Amen. Now, we have been putting a lot of focus over the last 2 years on helping each other and discipling each other. But let's be honest, we have not really been able, or we have not really done this, what Jesus commands us here, making disciples of all nations. And a church, of course, needs to do that as well. When you think about our identity, what is our reason for existence? We believe everyone deserves many chances to respond to God's truth and grace. Not just we here who are already part of Aletheia. Our purpose is everyone. So we need to reach others. And what is one of our anchors? Reach as many people as possible. So there are many, many reasons why we really need to take this whole topic of outreach seriously now. Now, we spent the last 2 years kind of building the relationships with each other. We tried outreach 2 years ago, and then in the process, we realized that we were not ready, and most of you have been part of that process, and you know what has happened. So yes, 2 years ago, we tried and we failed because we were not ready. But now, 2 years later, we feel it's really time to get serious about this topic and to really make that our focus. So that's the background. Now, here are a few things that we have learned over the last few months. FEIC, the network that we are part of, has started a series of talks on social media and these kind of things, and how to really use social media to get the word out and invite people to our church. And we have learned a lot on this whole topic, how to use something like Facebook or Twitter and these kind of things, how to use your website, and how to make sure that you really get out a message and that people respond to the message that you're trying to send out through these channels. Now, if we wanted to cover everything, that would take many hours. So I can't do that as part of this video. But at the same time, if you're interested in learning what we have learned, then let us know. And then we can sit together and we can talk about it together. But here are quickly the main lessons that we have learned. One of them is we have to send out a consistent message over and over and over again. Most of us probably know social media that's very quick and people just scroll through the tweets or their Facebook posts and all these things. And so we really don't have a lot of time. And most of the time, people will just overlook our posts. And that's why we have to send out the same message many, many times until people notice. And that message, whatever that message may be, has to be confirmed in all areas of Aletheia. Meaning if people go to our Facebook or Twitter or whatever, they have to realize, okay, this is what this church is all about. When they go to the website, they have to realize, okay, consistent message. They're saying the same thing there. If they meet us, if they eventually come to some of our events, they have to realize, okay, what they are saying on their social media is actually what they actually do when they meet with one another. So everything has to be consistent. So we can do all the advertisement and all this stuff on the internet, and maybe people get interested. But if they then come to us and they don't experience what we say we do, then they will immediately call us hypocrites and they will just leave again. And they will say, well, nice advertisement, but reality is different. So the whole message has to be consistent. Another lesson we learned was that we really need to define who we are trying to reach. Of course, everybody is welcome, but it's very ineffective if we're trying to reach everybody, because then we don't really have a target group, and then things are going to be they're not going to be effective. So we really have to define some target groups. We have to define some people and say, this is the kind of people that we want to reach. Again, everybody is welcome, but we have a specific focus. And then once we know who we are trying to reach, we'll get a much better understanding as well of how we can advertise ourselves, what kind of needs they have, and how we can present ourselves as the people who meet their needs. Another lesson that we learned is that we need to build common ground. Simply put, if we simply tell people, come to Aletheia, they will not respond to that. Because in their mind, they will ask the question, why should I join you? I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with what I'm doing. And so there's nothing you can offer to me. And so they will immediately say, like, why would I want to join you? Nobody will come to our church just because we say we want you to join. So what we have to do is we have to build relationships first. And we have to build those relationships based on their current lives, not based on what we want to give to them, which is the gospel, but we have to build relationships based on where they are currently at and what they are currently doing. And only after we have established this kind of trust and these kind of relationships, then we can start introducing Jesus to them. But if we start with Jesus, then most likely people will just not be interested. So we need to build common ground, we need to build relationships, and then introduce Jesus based on those relationships. And another main lesson that we learned is, especially for a church our size, we are not McDonald's, we are not Nike, we are not BMW or something, so we can't really do this kind of huge advertisement campaign. So for us, it's important that we also use word of mouth. Social media is good, and we can reach people that way, but word of mouth is just as important as digital invitations, which means we really all need to contribute to reaching people through our circle of influence, by going to people, by telling our colleagues, by telling our friends about these things that we will offer. So word of mouth is just as important as social media. So that was now really in 5 minutes what we have learned over the last 6 months. So if you want to know more, let us know and we'll make the videos available to you and we can talk more about these principles. Now, next step is what we came up with. How do we apply all these things to us and to our church? Part of that process was really asking the question, what kind of church are we? And what are we good at? And what are our strengths? And over the last 2 years, since our failed attempt to do outreach, I believe we have really learned to be a community. Now, we are far from being the kind of Acts 2 type of church or the Book of Acts kind of church. We are far from that. But I think we have all embraced that we want to be a community, that we want to be there for each other, that we want to be part of each other's lives, that we want to support each other. We want to be there for each other when one of us is in need. All these things. We're not perfect. We can certainly grow, but that's the kind of church that we have become over the last 2 years. And so naturally, the extension is now we want to offer that same type of community to others as well. Not just to each other in this church, but now we want to say, hey, we have this kind of community, we have these kind of relationships with other people as well, with each other already. Now we want to share that with other people. So that's where we came from, and that's why we came up with our theme. Our type of outreach, we believe, is coming alongside people who feel stuck or feel lonely. We're not the kind of church that is good at street evangelism. I don't think that's us, that we could just go on Marienplatz and just talk to random people about Jesus. I don't think that's our strength. I don't think our strength is that we run these kind of mass crusades, that we just invite 1,000 people to an event and then we kind of give an altar call from the front, give a message, and then ask people to accept Jesus there. That's not us. That's not our strength. That's not what we are good at. But I think what we are good at is when we see people in need, when people just need help, then we want to come alongside of them. Just how we have learned to come alongside each other in time of need. And so if people either feel stuck, meaning they have a problem and they are not able to solve it, and they are just looking for someone to help them, or they feel lonely. In a city like Munich, you can feel lonely very easily. Someone who has nobody to turn to, someone who just wants community, someone who has problems and nobody can help them. So our main method of outreach is that we want to come alongside people who feel stuck, who feel lonely, and we want to help them. We want to help them get unstuck, or we want to help them find community, or we want to help them find both. So that's our theme. Now, what are the kind of people that we want to specifically target? We have come up with 4 personas that I believe describe pretty well the kind of people that we are aiming for. One, we named her Alicia, is the Christian student who is new to Munich. This is a person who is new here, who just started her studies. Maybe she's from another part of Germany. Maybe she's coming from a foreign country. She's new to Munich. She's coming here. And now she's saying, well, I am a Christian. I'm looking for community, but I really don't know anybody. I don't know how to get along in the city. I don't know any places. I don't know any person. And I just need community. This person feels lonely. And so we want to come alongside someone like Alicia. And we want to say to her, welcome to Munich. We are here for you. We want to be the kind of community that you're looking for. We want to be friends with you. We want to pray for you. We want to maybe give you a city tour. We want to kind of introduce you to some places, these kind of things. And we want to help you get settled here in Munich. So that's the first persona. Second persona that we want to target is, we named him Jason. He's the stressed student, not a Christian. He's a foreign student coming to Munich, and he just feels pressure from everywhere. Lots of expectations from back home, that he will do well and that he will come back and then earn a lot of money because people maybe in his home country are sponsoring him to study here, and he feels pressure from there. Of course, he feels a lot of pressure from the studies. He feels the pressure of living in a foreign country. He feels the pressure of maybe having to have a part-time job to survive financially and these kind of things. So he's the kind of student who is just completely stressed and alone. He doesn't have anyone to turn to. And every evening he's just lying in bed and just feeling scared because he feels all this pressure. So that's Jason. Then we have Katarina. She's a kindergarten teacher. Oops, here we go. She's a kindergarten teacher who is just overwhelmed with work. She came here because she wanted to have a better life. She feels overwhelmed with work. She feels used. She feels like everybody else is just using her. She's working endless hours, but nobody's happy with her work. And she just feels like, man, I'm so stressed. I'm so worn out, and I don't know what to do. I came here to have a better life, but it's not working. So she feels stuck. She feels lonely. And then the fourth person that we are kind of personified is Priyanka. She's the mother of 3. Husband is busy at work. She's often alone at home with the 3 kids. She lives in a foreign country. She has no friends. She doesn't speak the language. And so her whole world is basically her 3 kids. And all she wants is that she can take a shower, or she can take a nap for a couple of hours, or she can just maybe go shopping without the kids and these kind of things. So she's really desperate, and she has nobody to turn to. She has nobody that she can talk to. She's living in a foreign country, so she doesn't know how to get around. She doesn't speak the language. She just doesn't know what to do. All she wants is taking a break from the kids, but there's no chance that she could do that. So these are 4 personifications of people that we are trying to reach. Of course, doesn't mean that if a newcomer doesn't fall into these categories, then we are not welcoming them. Anybody is welcome. But I think if we really think about these personas, if we think about what kind of people we are wanting to reach, then it really helps us to think of a concrete person, to not just say, yeah, we want to reach students, or to not just say, yeah, we want to reach people who are in need, but to really think about a specific person, having a specific person in mind. And then, of course, when we think about what kind of people we want to reach, then we also can think about what we can offer them and what we can do as a church to meet that need, even though the person doesn't exist in real life, but we know how we can approach the kind of people that we are trying to reach. All right, so that's our target group. That's the personification of the kind of people that we are trying to reach. So with all of this, we thought about a slogan. We thought about something that we could put on a banner, something that we could put on our website, something that would, in a few words, describe who we are and what we want to offer to people. And this is what we came up with. We said, find togetherness, support, and breakthrough. We want people at Aletheia to find togetherness, that we come together as a community. We want to offer support to people, that we want to be there for them, to support them in their struggles. And we want to be the ones that God uses to give them breakthrough, that people get unstuck, people come out of their sinful lifestyle or out of their distress or depression or whatever it might be, and they will experience a breakthrough through this community. And we believe that this is really something that will speak to people. Hopefully, they will scroll through their Facebook post or something, and when they see that, that will speak to them. And they will say, well, there is a group of people there that offers togetherness. There's a group of people there that offers support. And there's a group of people that offers breakthrough. And hopefully that will cause them to just open a post or go to our website or whatever and hear more about us. All these personas that I have just described here, Alicia, Jason, Katarina, and Priyanka, what they all have in common is they feel lonely or they feel stuck. And they are looking for someone to come alongside them to get unstuck. They are looking for someone to say, I want to help you. And we as a church, we want to be those people. We want to be that person that comes alongside of them and that says, I'm here. I'm here to be together with you. We are offering community to you. We are offering support to you. And by God's grace, maybe we can help you find the breakthrough through the situation that you're looking for. So that's our slogan. That's what we want to put on our website. That's what's going to replace Seeking Truth, Experiencing Grace, Sharing Life, which we currently have. We want to send out the message: find togetherness, support, and breakthrough. So this is how these three things are coming together. We have a theme coming alongside people who feel stuck or lonely. We have an audience, Alicia, Jason, Katarina, and Priyanka, as examples of the kind of people that we are trying to reach. We have a slogan: find togetherness, find togetherness, support, and breakthrough. And then, of course, we need to offer activities that support this whole goal. For example, I'm not saying that these are the kind of things that we're going to do, but some ideas of activities that we could run. For example, we could run a cross-cultural training. Why? Because a lot of people who come here that we are trying to reach, they live in a second or in a third culture. Maybe some of our families in our congregation, we have families where the parents or the couple is from different countries. So a cross-cultural training can help people to get unstuck, because they want to thrive in this society, they want to learn the society, but their society back home, their culture back home is very, very different. So they need to learn certain things to really thrive in this community, to thrive in Germany, to thrive in Munich. And so we want to offer cross-cultural training. Playgroup for young parents. That's then for someone like Priyanka, who is just at home and always with the kids, and she has no one else to talk to. If we offer playgroup for young parents, that's a great opportunity for parents to connect with each other. And we could offer the kind of community where they can support each other. And of course, we as church, we also support them. We can offer fun activities, meals with people, connect with people. A few weeks ago, in the summer, during the European Cup, some of the guys got together and they watched some of the matches together, and they invited their friends to come and watch together. These kind of fun activities for people who are lonely, for people who seek community. Marriage course and parenting course. That's then towards family, supporting family. A lot of people struggle in their family and they have nowhere to turn to. And they have nobody to talk to. They feel lonely. They feel stuck with their marriage problems, with their parenting problems. We can offer these kind of courses to help people get unstuck. Welcome to Munich activities. Now, there are 1,000 ways in which we could do that, but that could be a way to reach newcomers, to reach lonely people, to reach people who come to Munich and have no friends yet. Then we can say, hey, we offer a city tour. We offer an evening where we introduce different parts of the city. We help you, maybe if you don't speak the language, we help you find the right places. We can help you maybe if you need to do some legal stuff and you don't know how to do that. We can help you and we can introduce you to the authorities and to the offices that you need to go and these kind of things. So welcome to Munich kind of activity would fit in there. Third culture kids, that kind of goes back to a marriage course and parenting course. We can do something where we can just help people who move a lot, kids who move a lot, who struggle with adjusting, who struggle with knowing where am I from. Then for them, we could offer something as well. Mental health. I'm not sure if we are ready for that, but we put it here as a potential activity as well. Because a lot of people who move, who live in a different culture, they struggle being healthy mentally. And so maybe eventually, if we have the right people and resources, we can offer something like that to people as well. That we say, hey, if you deal with depression and if you struggle just being here and adjusting culture shock and these kind of things, we can help you. So obviously we can't do all these activities next week. That's not possible. But we did want to throw out some potential activities just so that everybody can see what we are aiming for and what kind of activities we could do to reach our goal. We want to reach people who are stuck. We want to reach people who are lonely. And we want to offer activities to reach these kind of people to meet their need. That's how we build common ground. They come to us not because they are seeking Jesus, but they come to us because they realize I have a need, I have a problem, there's something in my life that I can't fix. And then we offer to come alongside them, helping them in their struggle. We build relationships. And then as part of those relationships, we can also introduce Jesus to them. So that's the plan. That's the theory behind the whole thing that we came up with. And that's the kind of outreach activities that we want to start in the coming weeks and months. Obviously, that means there are a few next steps. One is the website. That's probably not very interesting to most of us right now, but obviously our website needs to be changed so that the one message that everybody gets immediately when they go to our website is that they realize, okay, this is the kind of church that they are. They offer togetherness, they offer support, they offer breakthrough, and they immediately see, okay, these are the kind of needs that this church wants to meet in my life. And if people identify their need in their lives, then they can, hopefully, they will reach out to us. Social media. Again, this is partly very technical, so I'm not going to go through details on this one, but we need to change our social media strategy, and we really need to throw out our message over and over again through graphics, through videos, through testimonies, through written testimonies, all kinds of things, so that people get a chance to hear that we are a church that offers support, that offers togetherness, that offers breakthrough. So what does that mean for all of us? Well, first of all, we want everyone to think about activities we could run. This whole thing cannot work if the leadership just tries to run all the activities and other people just cheer us on and say like, oh yeah, I'll pray for you. Then we're not going to be very effective. I believe all of us have gifts. All of us have things that we could contribute to this goal. And all of us could potentially run an activity to reach this goal. Maybe some of us say, hey, I'm good with languages, so I could maybe offer some form of language course for people who are new to Munich. Another person says, well, I know the city pretty well, and so I could run something for people who are new to Munich. Another person might say, well, I think I have some input in marriages, in families, and these kind of issues. So I could run something for families. And maybe some of you have ideas that we haven't thought of. Maybe you can think of an activity that you say, I'm really good at this, and I want to run this because it really meets the needs of people who are lonely or feel stuck, and I can do something for these kinds of people in this area. So we want everyone to think about activities we could run and eventually also get involved in it. Secondly, we want everyone to reach your circle of influence. Not just relying on others, not just relying on social media, but that everybody says, hey, I know our church is running something for couples, and I know a couple who might benefit from that, so I'm going to invite them. Or, hey, our church is running something for newcomers. I know someone who just moved to Munich. I'm going to invite them to that. So everyone has to reach your circle of influence. Let people know about these activities and let them know that we are a church who offers togetherness, who offers support, who offers breakthrough. We want everyone to reach a circle of influence, and we want everyone to contribute to activities, either running your own activities or help activities that others do. And of course, invite people. Now, obviously, sometimes when we run these activities, money will be involved. As far as possible, Aletheia will pay for all costs related to these kind of activities that you want to run, but we also have legal limitations. So we want to ask you that before you start spending money, talk to us first, and then we'll let you know how we're going to handle the financial aspect. Just want to make sure that you don't spend 500 euro, then hand us the invoice, and then afterwards we have to tell you, sorry, Aletheia is legally not allowed to pay for that, and then we start fighting. So before you start spending money, please let us know, and then we will let you know how we are going to handle the finances for that. But the general guideline is, as far as legally possible, Aletheia will pay for all costs related to activities that we're going to run. What about the time frame? We obviously need a few weeks to kind of get going, and I know we kind of have a head start. We have thought about this for the last 6 months. We have talked a lot about it among the leadership. So it's not possible that everybody is on the same page immediately. So that's why we kind of said that our time frame is Christmas, which is not too far off. The Christmas season already starts in 2 months. So by mid-November, we want to have some Christmas activities that we could do together, because Christmas is a time when a lot of people feel lonely, when a lot of people feel stuck, and when a lot of people kind of realize their problems. Because it's supposed to be a very festive time, family time with close friends and these kind of things. And people who then don't have that kind of community, people don't have the family with them, people who maybe are divorced, or people who live in a foreign country and are not with their family, or people who just deal with depression or something like this. It often comes out even stronger during Christmas time. And that's why we want to run some Christmas-related activities in December, and then throughout the month of December, have some events where people who feel stuck or people who feel lonely, where we can offer something for them during the season, that they have some time with us, and even if it's just a meal, or even if it's just some time to talk with someone, where they can come to us and we can listen to them and build relationships. So that's kind of the first goal, that we have something during the Christmas time, and then we want to run regular activities from January 2022 onwards, that maybe at least once a month we can say we do something, we do an activity, we do an event to reach people outside of our congregation. Potential Christmas activities that we came up with so far, of course, meals. We could do something like, let's go on Weihnachtsmarkt together and invite people who want to come with us and these kind of things. So not very thought through yet, but I think we can all think of something that we could do during the Christmas time. So this framework is probably not very interesting to many of us right now, because you already got a lot of information, but I think the most important thing is just aim to build long-term relationships. So not just running an activity for the sake of running an activity, not just running an activity and then afterwards being able to say, hey, 30 people came to my activity, great. But we want to run activities where we can build long-term relationships, where we can get to know people and in a non-religious way, and where we can simply naturally then say, hey, could you give me your email address? Could you give me your phone number? We stay in touch with them. Maybe we meet with them again, not as a big group, but maybe one-on-one 2 weeks later and these kind of things. And we just start building relationships with people who are not yet part of our community. So that's the main goal. So if we want to run activity, always aim for building long-term relationships. So that's the information for today. So in conclusion, given the size of our congregation, this whole effort is only going to work if we all contribute to it. If this is something where the leadership now says, okay, let's do this, and everybody else says, yeah, but not me. So it's fine if the church runs it, but I don't want to contribute to this, then it's not going to work. So the obvious question is, do we want to do this? If we all say, yes, let's do it, then we can take the next steps and we can start planning together. But if half of us say, no, actually, I don't want to do it, this is not my cup of tea, or I don't have time for this, or I don't want to do it for whatever reason, then we will probably have to come up with another idea. Then we probably have to come up with some other plans. So that's the obvious first question. Is everybody in? Do we want to do this as a church? Or is this just something that maybe the leadership thinks it's a good idea, but the rest of us think, nah, I don't want to do it. So that's a question we will then have to discuss on Monday at our meeting to make sure that whether we have support, whether the congregation as a whole wants to do this, or whether there's just no interest in doing that. And then if we do decide to do it, we also have to be aware of one thing. This is probably something that will grow exponentially. We all just went through the Corona season. We all have an idea of what exponential growth looks like. So it basically means in the beginning, it will look like not much is happening. There will be very little growth in the beginning, but then over time, it will pick up speed. And then it will grow eventually. Most likely in the beginning, it will be hard to reach people. We will run some activities. We will not really know what kind of activities work. And maybe we will try to invite people and nobody is coming and these kind of things. So first we kind of have to figure out what kind of activities are attractive to people. What kind of activities work in a city like Munich. And then once we figure that out, we have to figure out, okay, how to make this now work to build long-term relationships. And so there will be a lot of trial and error in the beginning. But I believe once we figure these things out, and once a few people join our congregation because of this, then it will eventually take off. Because usually people who experienced it, they will be most eager to then invite their friends. So if we run activities and maybe 2 people eventually join us, those 2 people will probably be the main people to invite their friends to the next one. And that's how we will eventually then really reach people and how the whole thing will grow. The reason why I'm saying this is this kind of outreach approach probably will not mean that by January we will have 10 new people, and then by springtime our congregation will be 100 people. That's probably not going to happen. But we just have to be persistent, we have to be patient, we have to learn, we have to be willing to do trial and error, and we just have to keep doing it. And we believe that if we all contribute our part, if we are consistent, and if we just keep on running events and being willing to make mistakes, being willing to be discouraged, and then figuring out what works, figuring out what kind of activities work, figuring out how to invite people in, all these things, I believe then over time, over months and years, we will eventually see the fruit, and we will eventually see how people come to us and how this will really become part of our DNA, how this will really become part of our church, that we as a church do this and we do it naturally, and that's how the church will grow as well. So that's what we wanted to share with you today. So this coming week, we will then have a meeting. We will then talk more about it. I'm sure there are a lot of questions, there are a lot of thoughts, there are a lot of ideas from different people. And so we want to just encourage you that you will bring those thoughts, you will bring those questions as we discuss next week. And then hopefully we can refine this a little bit more, and we will be able to come to an agreement on how we want to move forward. So that was the video for today. Let me know if you have any questions, and then we hope that we can see you on Sunday, and then also at our discussions next week on how to move forward with this. So thanks for your time, and have a great week, and see you on Sunday.